This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk a little bit about what's next here. As a tag team, we're going to pair the Steiner Brothers with Missy Hyatt. What'd you think of that pairing? Missy Hyatt, of course, came over from the UWF just like Rick, and boy, she was over like Rover in this day. The gentlemen in the crowd were a big fan of what she brought to the table.
Yeah, they sure were. She appealed to the young male demographic.
Yes, sir.
And there were a couple of things there that really stood out in her personality. But quite honestly, she was over.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt.
And so I look at Missy, probably doesn't get credit for the talent that she has or had or whatever your frame of mind is.
Yeah.
Phrasing is. But she was a proven star with great name identity. So I look at this situation kind of like the Steiners getting training wheels. You know, they didn't need a manager, but neither one at that point were great orators. They were real, which is good enough for me, but they weren't slick and cool, and you know, they couldn't cut promos like Flair and so forth, Arn and all these guys, Tully. They couldn't. They weren't there yet. So I'm not saying, well, Missy didn't do much better type thing. Well, she did better than that, but she had name identity and some fame, and it was unique. And, you know, the fantasy guys were just imagining, you know, Missy and the Steiner Brothers. You know, that's the same old deal where you have a dark journey with managing Caucasians. You know, there was all that racial horse shit until she got with the missing link. I don't know, the romance might not have transferred there so much, but with good old Dewey Robertson. Dewey Robertson's real name, by the way, Conrad, another fun fact today. Dewey, Byron, James, John, what's his last name? God damn. I just fumbled in the red zone.
He didn't need a last name. He had 32 first names.
He did. Canadian and all these different names. It was Robertson. Dewey, Byron, James, John Robertson. He's the guy that got us. He was performing oral sex on his wife on a pool table at the little hotel that we were staying at in Glenpool, Oklahoma, and got all of us kicked out. Can we say oral sex in this podcast?
We can say whatever you want, Mr. Ross.
Well, I mean, I'm just quoting a story. I don't. And they got busted by the hotel, who were I think of Indian descent. Didn't flush well. Everybody got kicked out, but me. And they liked me. And I had a real big, nice home about 3 miles away that I was separated from wife 2. Or was it wife 1? No, wife 2. And so we got booted out of the nice little Glenpool hotel. I wonder if they're still there. So if you're driving down Oklahoma 75, everybody, you look over there at that Quality Inn, you know at least one piece of wrestling worthless trivia that I just shared with you. So, and ironically, Cowboy, I think kind of attaboyed it. He didn't get mad. So crazy times, man. Double standards, just a crazy time. So anyway, that was my Quality Inn story.
Let's talk about Rick Steiner a little more. At Clash of the Champions 8, the Steiners are going to challenge the Freebirds for the tag titles, but lose when Robin accidentally trips Scott. He's then DDT'd by Michael Hayes and pinned, and this is essentially the start of Nancy's heel turn. When the heel turn starts to eventually take shape, Robin transfers into woman and starts bringing in the masked men, Butch Reed and Ron Simmons, as the tag team known as Doom. And of course, they're immediately feuding with the Steiners. We've recently talked a little bit about Doom with shows on Ron Simmons, and we touched on Butch Reed with his recent passing. But man, there is some fantastic matches between the two, and we're going to talk about that. I do want to briefly talk about the Steiners' reputation here, because boy, there's a lot of clips of them working with enhancement talent, and it looks like whoever had the honor of working with the Steiner brothers could maybe be akin to drawing the short straw. These dudes were brutal back in the day, were they not?
They were snug. They were real. They're going to protect their gimmick and protect who they were. So if you're going to be booked in an enhanced match with the Steiners or a regular match, you're going to get clotheslined. And they're not going to stick their arm out so you can run into it. They're going to, I tell guys this all the time. You can't do a clothesline where you're stopping. You're reeking of work and fake. And you're not working your gimmick, as the young Rock would say. And they follow through, man. Boom. Boom. And to me, it sells it like $1 million. So you're going to get hit. That's like playing in a big ball game. You think when somebody plays your school, Alabama, they know they're not going to get hit? You're damn right you're going to get hit.
Right.
That's part of our charm. We beat the shit out of you. Because my big guys in the line of scrimmage are going to beat your guys in the line of scrimmage every week, every Saturday. So, and some of those job guys, I hate to use that term, shouldn't you? I apologize for that.
Enhancement talent.
Yeah. Well, prelim guys, enhancement talent, whatever. Yep. That's right. You're right. But they knew what they signed up for.
Right.
And they knew they're going to have to earn their $50 or $100 by having a little walk in the park with the Steiners for 3 to 5 minutes. And if you didn't know your fundamental skills, Conrad, and you started screwing, I saw something the other day with Rick and Scotty with a couple of dudes that were scared to death.
Yeah.
And they screwed up the match. And subsequently, they got punished. They got woodshedded. And the strongest woodshedded I could give you. The only thing the Steiners didn't do was bust their faces up. Other than that, they were abused. And because they didn't come prepared and they weren't investing in the match. Their job as enhancement talents is to make the opponents, i.e. the Steiners, look like monsters. And they didn't get that done.
What's next for the Steiners, though? Well, the U.S. tag titles. They're going to defeat the Midnight Express in August of '90 in East Rutherford, New Jersey. What do you think of the United States tag team titles? Oftentimes, Crockett has been criticized for having too many belts. This one carries over to WCW. Was there enough tag team talent to have 2 sets of tag titles here?
Maybe. But in a perfect world, I would never have had all those secondary titles.
Right.
Again, you go back. Here's what's funny. People are going to say, oh, it can't be JR. Come on. The egos and the fragility of a lot of talents, sometimes what makes them happy is a title belt, a strap, Conrad, like you have behind you.
Yeah.
Straps galore. And they believe that's a sign of respect. It's a fucking prop. Sorry to bust your bubble, folks. It's a prop. But sometimes that's a promoter's way of working the talent. Hey, you get a break. You're going to be the TV champ. You're going to be the U.S. champ. I'm not against look, the Steiners could be anything they wanted to be, and I'd be a fan. And they also had respect for the Midnight Express and Cornette. And why wouldn't they? They're a phenomenal team. Any incarnation was phenomenal. So I enjoyed their matches a great deal because the Midnight Express showed you how undersized guys, and compared to the Steiners and their thick muscularity, were undersized. And they were able to break down those big monsters by isolating one from his partner, taking the match to the Midnight Express half of the ring, making a handicap match, 2-on-1, frequent tags. And then that set up the hot tag. And then when you set up the hot tag, you had, in this case, Dennis and Bobby, I think, or maybe, I don't know if it was Stan, but whatever the combination was, they're all interchangeable parts. They're all very good. Then all of a sudden they went to work, feeding a comeback. And I don't know too many heel teams that fed a comeback any better than the Midnight Express. So I thought they had great chemistry. I thought it worked out real well, but I'm not a big fan of so many titles. Dusty had I guess Barry Windham had a title anxiety because he made him the Western States Heritage Champion.
Oh, yeah.
Which is an unknown title that was kind of made topical when the Amarillo Territory was ongoing. It meant nothing. People never even heard of it. It had no meaning. And then you win these imaginary tournaments like Patterson winning the Intercontinental title in Rio de Janeiro. which never happened. But in any event, I think too many titles water it down. You know, I was reluctant, and I've since changed my mind. I thought, you know, having an AEW champion and then now that we have a TNT champion, I get it. Did we need it? I didn't think so in the beginning, but now I like it.
Yeah.
Because it gives but we don't have 10 of them.
Right.
You know, so I'm not a big fan of too many titles, and I'm not knocking the guys that held the title by any stretch. No. I just thought it kind of watered down the process a little bit.
Well, it does. I mean, in Crockett, you had the world title, the U.S. title, the TV title, the national title. Then you said the Western States Heritage and the Central States and the Mid-Atlantic. And there's 7 singles titles before you even get to junior heavyweights. So it's a lot.
And a lot of them, Conrad, were done to appease talents.
Yeah, everybody wants a belt.
Everybody wants a belt because they see the belt as a sign of security and potential income. And it just waters down the product. So I wasn't a big fan of it. I was a fan of the guys that held it. I was a fan I could see all the Midnight Express, Steiner Brothers matches. You want to feed me. But too many titles dilutes the whole process, in my opinion.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.